everyone, and welcome to today's German Hospital recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. Really technical day on German Hospital today, so bear with me. There's going to be a lot of little details, especially towards the end, so let's get right to it. At Julexis's house, their pre-wedding night gets interrupted by Olivia, and she had a premonition. Yes, I have missed her premonitions so much. And me and my mom were actually just talking about that the other day. We're like, whatever happened to Olivia's premonitions? And now she had one, and I'm so happy. And she says she saw the two of them having a wonderful life together. Just kidding, no premonition. And I'm like, oh, I feel so lied to. I was so upset. But Olivia wants to get something clear with Alexis now that she's marrying the father of her child. It sounds so sinister, but it's actually Olivia telling her how grateful she is that Alexis did what she did with Leo, and she's really happy for the two of them, and they hug, and Julian is like really confused. But before Olivia leaves, she asks Alexis and Julian to pick which of the two outfits Leo should wear, and when she turns to Julian, there's blood on his hand. Yes, premonition! See, we were promised one and we got one. So Olivia rushes to leave, but she tells them about his bloody hands, and Alexis is momentarily bothered, and then they get back to their evening. At the penthouse, Nicholas comes over. Sam tells him to go to hell. It happens. She gives Nicholas a piece of her mind about keeping Jason from her for almost a year. Her and Danny, really. I guess she would still be just as mad. I feel like she's extra mad because of the Danny factor. And he asks her to investigate Hayden for Spencer. If not for him, for Spencer, to make sure Spencer's future is, solid. I can't think of the word. And she agrees. He tells Sam about the Rachel incident and gives her the Baxter Corbin information, and Sam's going to get right to it. And Nicholas loves Hayden and is fascinated by her, and he says he'll be crushed and feel like a fool if Hayden has played him. At the Metro Court, Hayden is meeting with Diane secretly for an all-cash appointment, and Hayden asks Diane to draw up papers, and she wants all the communication to stay just between the two of them, and the documents would transfer the bulk of Nicholas's fortune to her. Diane reminds her that the documents aren't valid until Nicholas signs them, and Hayden asks if a lawyer, she's like, am I correct in that, a lawyer doesn't need to be present when Nicholas signs, there just needs to be a witness and have it notarized? And Diane says she's correct. So no lawyer, just a witness and a notarized signature. At Sunny's place, Sunny fires Morgan and Carly comes in. Sunny tells Carly what happened in the warehouse, and Morgan's yelling. He says that Kiki walked in on the whole thing happening, and he says it was an accident what happened with Darby. And I don't think that counts as an accident, Morgan. I think someone should define to him what an accident is. But Morgan thinks Sunny is overreacting, and Carly asks if he's taking his medicine, and that gets Morgan upset, obviously. And Sunny tells him that he's acting manic. So Morgan insists that he's taking his medication, and they don't believe him, and they say they can't trust him because he didn't hold up his end of the bargain and act like an adult. So Morgan accuses Sunny of thinking he's crazy, and then he says he wanted to work for the real organization and not the coffee business. And at this point, what is the real organization? Can Morgan tell us? Can someone tell us? And Morgan leaves, and he feels that they only see him as a problem that needs to be fixed. And Carly is worried that Morgan wants to see Ava. Sunny tries to calm and talk her through the situation, but she's still upset, and she doesn't know what happened to make him stop taking his pills. And if she asks Kiki, that conversation's gonna get a little awkward. Alright, so now at Anna's place. Lots of technical stuff here. I'm just reading my notes. It's okay. Anna confronts Paul about killing Sloan and passing him off as Carlos. Paul admits it. So he admits also having them locked up in Halifax, and Anna doesn't know how Paul factors into the whole Julian Carlos thing, Sonny, that whole thing, and she thinks this links to Sonny, and Anna asks if Carlos was working for Julian or for him, Paul, or maybe Paul shot Sonny himself. So Paul says that he killed Kyle Sloan because he had to. And Paul gives Anna an old picture of Susan, like when she's a little kid. So way back when the cartel had given Susan something to make her sick and she recovered, and Paul then overdid it and gave Susan everything she ever wanted and more. So she then grew up spoiled and would get into trouble and couldn't be reined in. So he cut her off financially and she severed contact, and he says that Kyle Sloan knew Susan and destroyed her life. So now we're in the next chapter of it. Susan moved in with Sloan and kept in contact with Jenny, her mother, and Sloan became controlling and abused her, and Susan wouldn't reach out for help because she was still so mad at Paul. So this went on for a year, and according to Paul, Sloan beat and raped Susan when she was attempting to leave him. So she showed up at Paul's door after it happened. And this is all according to Paul, by the way. I'm just giving you exactly what he told Anna. And Jenny and Paul got her to the ER, and then he went out to look for Sloan. He didn't find him that night, and Susan refused to press charges. So when he moved back to Port Charles, Lomax mentioned that she was having trouble with her former police commissioner, Sloan, Kyle Sloan. So then this actually stuff we saw. So Sloan then wound up calling Paul about information he had on Carlos Rivera. So Sloan didn't realize who he was talking to, and Paul met Sloan on the dock and gave him information. We saw that, and Paul mentions how he said something about killing two birds with one stone right before he killed Kyle Sloan. So I took that to mean, and we might have all, as far as I can remember, because this happened a while ago, but I took that to mean that now Paul has something to blackmail and control Anna with, and he gets to get rid of the one person who could unravel the Carlos mess, which would put Paul's organization in jeopardy. But now, according to Sloan, that two birds with one stone thing was killing Sloan because of what he did to Susan, and then the information on Carlos, or at least one of the birds was killing Sloan because of what he did to Susan. Okay, so then Paul goes on to say somebody saw him shoot Sloan, and wouldn't you know that someone was Carlos. So then Carlos had a gun on Paul, and Paul got the idea to use Sloan's body to confirm Carlos's death. Whew, okay. Now that last part we didn't see. We only saw a little part where Sloan and Paul had their interaction. So what do you think of Paul's story? Do you think it's true, or do you think he's just rewriting some stuff? And it'd be pretty sick if he was, to say his daughter went through that if she didn't really. But what do you think of Paul's story? Basically, because I'm still processing it. But moving on, at the pier, Raj and Dixon, maybe? I'm thinking the person we saw is Dixon. They meet at the pier and talk about the Haunted Star and how he had rented it out, so there's going to be no staff there or anything. And they're gearing up for the major shipment, and Morgan overhears everything. And now, end scene! Anna wants to tell the world that Carlos is alive, and Paul tries to tell her something, but she kicks him out and doesn't wind up calling Jordan, actually. And then she picks up the picture of Susan and looks at it wistfully. Sam calls Baxter Corbin as a potential client. Julexis is so happy together, and they make me happy, but tomorrow's the big day. Can't wait to see what happens. Leo keeps throwing the toy that Julian gave him What does it mean? Does it tie in with the premonition? Can Leo get premonitions too? Oh my goodness. I am so happy right now with that thought. Carly is worried about Morgan and Sunny. And Sunny believes that he's bottoming out right now between what happened with Kiki and everything. Sunny gets a call from Max about the shipment. It lands at midnight, and Sunny's going to go to the wedding first and then check it out. Dixon is worried about moving the shipment through Sunny's territory because he doesn't want to deal with Sunny. I think he's actually kind of afraid of him because he mentions how in the past 20 years, anyone who seems to go against Sunny or move something through his territory gets killed. And apparently he's moving the shipment to 6 o'clock and not midnight. And now Morgan knows that and nobody else does. So can't wait for that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It would mean so much. And also, we vote for character of the week, and then I announce the winner on Monday. So if you think you know who you're voting for character of the week, you can leave your vote in this video, or we can vote tomorrow. Whatever you want to do, it's up to you. And I will see you tomorrow for more Drama Hospital. I hope you have a great day. Bye!